Hello and welcome to American Civilization, an introduction to American history. I'm Mr. Green. I will be your teacher for the semester, and this video is designed to be an introduction to the syllabus of the course and Canvas. You should get an idea of some of the expectations that we will have for completing the class through the semester as we do this. To help me with this, I'm now going to change to a slideshow, embed a slideshow into this video that will help us along. Here you see the first slide. See, I'm Mr. Green. I'm your professor for the semester, so we'll move right along here. On the first day of class, I'm going to ask you to submit this information sheet that you see a screenshot of here, in which I will get your name and some other information about you. We'll use your name to collate with the official role the campus has. And if I do not get one of these information sheets from you during the first 2 days of class, then I will assume you are not attending, and school policy requires that I withdraw you from the class. So I'll hand this out in hard copy on the first and second day of the semester. You can find one of these on Canvas's homepage, which we'll get to in a minute, in which you can fill it out and have it ready when class starts if you wish. It's not required that you do that. One of the things that I need from you on this information sheet is a 6-letter or digit code that I will use for posting grades. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about that as we move through this presentation. One more thing that you see here, so you should be thinking about getting a 6-digit code that only you know, because when I post grades, everyone in the class's grades will be posted by their 6-digit code, but they'll be community scored and presented in the way that I do it. So I think it's important for your privacy that only you know which of these codes is yours, and that you choose one that will not be recognizable to other students as they look through the set of scores as I update and post them through the semester. In the lower left-hand corner of the slide, you can see an arrow pointing to the number 2. That's the slide number, and I'll be referring to slide numbers as we move through this presentation in order to make it easier for you to find these later if you want to go back and look at them again. Okay. So first thing we need to do is have a look at Canvas. The program that's been furnished to all the faculty on the campus and to many faculties around the country that allows us to receive assignments from you that you've done. It allows us to prepare and administer tests, which I do a lot. I use Canvas very much during the semester, and it's going to be very important that you look at Canvas. Most of you will, because you'll have your devices set to receive Canvas information. But if you're one of those students who doesn't check into Canvas a lot, you need to put it in your schedule that you're going to for this class, because I send lots of messages and do most of the material that I'm using for exams and quizzes and so on comes through what's going to be available to you on Canvas. So with that in mind, let's go to the home page of the university. This is an old picture that I took a long time ago. Yours will be different because they change the picture as they go. What I'm interested in is that little My Dixie that I have circled and with the arrow pointed to up there. You select that, you get another page, the My Dixie page, and here is probably the easiest way if you already don't have Canvas login associated with a link in your computer or on your phone for you to find Canvas and log into it. So we would select that. When we do that, we get this login page for Canvas and Dixie State University. And this is how you're going to get to all the material that we'll use in this class this semester. Up to this point, I can't help you much in getting to here, nor can I help you at all in figuring out your Dixie ID and password. That was all supposedly taken care of when you started the semester, when you registered, and you had to have all of that to register for the course. So I'm assuming you know how to get into Canvas. Now, once we get into Canvas, this is from my login to Canvas, and it shows the courses I'm teaching. The courses you're teaching will be these little block things that you see here. You can see that I've, in the one that I have here, it's from last semester. I wasn't teaching American history then, so this particular one doesn't show an American history course. But it does show what I'm after here, and that is something called the account tool in Canvas. In order for me to communicate effectively and adequately with you, it's going to be necessary that my messages and emails get to your devices, whatever you're using, and to the programs that you're using. If you're using Facebook or Instagram, something like that. If you're, I'll be sending emails, and your email account, whether it's Dmail or a Gmail or a Yahoo account that you're using, it's necessary for you to be able to receive my messages when they come. So if I choose that accounts link that you saw up there, I get this little menu that you see here, and I'm interested in the two links that I have circled. The first one is notifications, the second one is settings. It's going to be more useful for me to choose settings first, so I'm going to do that. And when I choose settings, there we've chosen settings. Over on the right-hand side in the circled portion, you see a way for you to make your email account line up with the messages that I'm going to be sending you by Canvas email and announcements that come through Canvas. So if I pull that up, you can see that there's an email address there. Your Dmail is should already be logged in there. My campus email, the main email that I use, is, you can see on this one, that one needs to be changed, and you need to put in your Gmail, your Yahoo, your Microsoft account, whatever email account that you're using, and it needs to appear there. That way that when I send emails, it'll come to all of your devices, and you need to make sure that all of your devices are connected here. There's a little link there, all devices, and you can set up methods that need to happen in order for that to occur. You need to take care of this immediately, as soon as you can after you've watched this video. I'm going to open Canvas for you a week before the semester starts, and you should be able to get into it and take care of this before then. I'll remind you at the end of this slides that you need to do this. If you're not getting my emails and messages, that will not from now on be my responsibility. It'll be because you did not use this system in order to set up your to be able to receive my information as it comes. Now this is the notifications page, what it looks like. I've cut it off a little bit because we're just up at the top. The thing that I need on this one when you see it is you go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 links there to where it says announcement. And on that line, as you go across the row, you see a bunch of little bells, green bells. Some up above have not been connected. If you choose them, then they have. I need to make sure that all those green bells are selected. Okay. On the far right is the Gmail account that should already be connected. Your email that you just established in the settings tool that we just used should be set up there, and that should be pushed to green. But really important is where it says push notifications. That means that all of my messages and announcements come to the devices that you selected in settings when I give them, so that you're receiving them in good time, so that you know what it is that I'm trying to communicate to you, and that you're able to respond if need be. Okay. This is where I'll be when I post grades. I'll send this announcement with that grade report. When there are exams or quizzes coming up, you'll get an announcement from me indicating that, and so on. So it's pretty important. And again, I'll go over this again a little bit later. The next thing we do is now I have a screen that I took last spring semester, with the 3 classes I was teaching then. And one of them you can see was American history. Has a picture of Abraham Lincoln in the box. That's how we get to our class. If you choose that, we're going to go to the course homepage, which I'm going to do right now. Okay. Although I wanted to look at this little box first, just to point out that down at the bottom of it is a little bullhorn. And if you're not getting my announcements, you can simply select that little bullhorn on this little box, and that will take you to all the announcements that I've been doing. You can also access them through Canvas and the tools menu that I'm going to show you. I won't mention the announcements menu, but you'll see it as I select some of the other links in that tool menu. Okay, course homepage. Let's do that next. In this section of the video, let's look at the course homepage. This slide shows you a screenshot of the homepage that I've blown up. So there's more to the page, but it's information that's incidental. There are 2 things that you'll notice about the homepage. One is it has my picture on it. And during the semester, if I'm referring to the homepage, sometimes I'll say the one with my picture on it. And as I go down and look at some of the material that's on this page, you'll see it's connected to my picture as we go there. So the homepage, probably the most important one that we'll use. The next thing that you see is the header that I've used here, a picture of Mount Rushmore, as you can see up there. It has my contact information on it. I'm going to blow that up for you right now. Here you can see everything there. Is my name, my phone number, and the email address and my office number, as you can see. If we're having appointments during the semester to work on issues that we have with either quizzes or exams, it'll be necessary for you to make an appointment with me, either by email, Canvas email, or through my phone, and then we will set up a meeting where you're sure that I'm there and I know why you're coming and why you're coming, so no one else is you don't have to wait for anybody else there. And we can either do that meeting by phone, or you can come to my office and we can do it there. You'll see my office hours in a minute. When you make an appointment with me, then you should consult my office hours to make sure it's a time when I'm going to be there when you ask for your appointment, which, again, you're going to do by email. So contact information there on the homepage where it's fairly easy to find. Going back to the homepage again, and here the arrow is pointing at the inbox tool over on the far left-hand side. Most of you will have used Canvas, maybe in high school, but in the university as well. If you haven't before, that's the email tool. If you go there, you find ways to send emails and to receive emails that I'm sending to you. So you can contact me. You can also contact any other student in the class. Canvas email is an internal system. You can't send emails to your friends and neighbors outside of campus on it. And you have to choose somebody to send the message to from the list of people who are there in order to make it work. So it's internal, and that means the NSA is not going to be able to monitor what you and I are saying to each other. So if you have vital national security information that you don't want to share anywhere else, then you can do it here. I'm going to scroll down now. This screenshot is taken just below my picture, and when you go to your version of it, it's going to be expanded a little bit. I've added some other things since I took this picture, but the picture is useful enough for the three things that I'm going to now go over with you that you're going to need as we move through the semester. There's a link to my office hours, there's a link to the syllabus, and there's a link to the printable schedule. So let's look at each one of those in turn, if you will. This is the PDF file that comes up if you choose my office hours. You can see the class when I'm in class, and then the white boxes where it says office means that I'm in my office and available for a meeting. So if you're seeking an appointment with me, then you simply find one of these times that's convenient for you that are marked office, send me an email asking for an appointment during one of those periods. Later in the semester, because of the way I run my classes, there will be lots of meetings, especially after the midterm period, that people will be want to have with me, some before with papers I'm doing in other classes. And so I normally divide these office hours into 20-minute segments. And so if you ask for an appointment at 9 o'clock and I have someone at 9 o'clock, I'll ask you if you can come at 9:20 or something like that. That way I can get 3 meetings an hour in and still have enough time to do what normally needs to be done in an office hour visit in those times. This is the cover sheet of our syllabus. It's 17 pages long. It's got lots of stuff in it, stuff to help you with your exams and so on. I'm going to be going through some of the things that are in it as we move through the requirements for the class a little bit later, but I'll be referring back to the syllabus as we go during the course. It's long, so I've got a big long table of contents to help you work your way through all of the things that are in it. You see my office hours, again, are posted here, and many students like to get them that through the syllabus. It's going to be pretty important that you have this available on your device. I don't think you need to print it out, but have it available so that you can use it. The next, third thing that we have on those links on the home page is the printable schedule. I follow the printable schedule religiously. If it says something is due, something is due. This is the way I've organized the class. And if I don't follow it religiously, we won't get done with everything we need to do. We're going to read the whole textbook that I've assigned for you, and reading it is included in the way that I've scheduled the quiz sections that are marked down through here. So there are midterms, final, and quizzes that you need to pay attention to. There's some other assignments as well that we'll talk about as we go through here. One other thing I'll just mention in passing here. Some of you are going to get your textbook electronically, and some versions of the electronic textbook are not paginated. You can't find the page numbers. So for the reading assignments, I simply went in and I do the reading assignments by page number. So it says, read to the break on page X. And at those breaks, I've included the paragraph before and the paragraph after in a document so that you can find exactly where you're supposed to have read to for the assignment and where you're supposed to begin the next assignment that you're doing. So if you do not have a paginated version of your text, then you would use that. And you can see below that is the information sheet that I mentioned at the beginning of this session, so you can look for that there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is look at Canvas tools, okay, which I've referred to a little bit earlier. I've covered this with a transparent purple box. Yours will not have the transparent purple box over it, but it has a bunch of, on this left-hand side of Canvas everywhere, a bunch of these links that the Canvas people call the tools. And so I refer to any of these preset links that Canvas has as the tools. I get to control which ones of these you see in this particular list, and the ones that I want you to be dealing with are the syllabus, the assignments, the quizzes. They're the only ones we need to worry about for this presentation. And a little later, I'll talk to you about the one labeled pages, okay? So let's begin with the syllabus tool. It looks like this. You can see it's the syllabus page, has my contact information repeated here, links to the syllabus and the schedule. But I want to scroll down on this one. If I scroll down below where I had all of that, you can see now a picture of our textbook. Wilfred McClay, Land of Hope. Earlier in December, for everyone who was registered, I sent a D-mail giving you the name of this book and an ISBN so you could begin acquiring it. There are two advantages to this book. One is, from my perspective, it's a neutral book. It doesn't take a ideological perspective and just pursue that to the exclusion of other positions. So we're not going to be as ideological in this class as some tend to be because of the way textbooks are written. Second is this is inexpensive. You can probably find the just out paperback version of this book for less than $25. Normally a full-fledged normal publisher's textbook can be as much as $100. You will not have to do that for this class, okay? So you should all be acquiring the book. There's some available at the bookstore, but you can also get it through Amazon. There may be hardcover versions that are used that you may be able to find if you want. And I know there are electronic versions maybe you can rent or whatever. My advice to you, since it's an inexpensive book and a really good American history survey, is that you buy it and keep it, that you do not sell it back. This is the kind of book that you refer to over your lifetime, that you want to look back and what was that all about? Was that a battle in the eastern part of the Civil War? Was Theodore Roosevelt, what did he do again? And so this is a good book to use as a reference like that. And it won't go out of date, although it will be updated periodically as history moves along. But generally, historians like to stay away from stuff that happened in the last 30 years or so. This one goes up to, I think, the Obama administration, but we're never really sure what the interpretations of, based on the evidence are going to be, because all the evidence isn't released yet. Presidents keep their papers and Congress people keep their papers and so on. And the historians just aren't able to get at all of the information that historians need in order to write their accounts. We'll do grading next. This section is on the grading system that I will use during the semester. As I scroll down on the syllabus page, I come to the end of the material that I put in the syllabus page, and that is the grading system that I use. Rather than put the whole syllabus on this page, instead I gave you a printable version of it that I can update more readily and so on. This just has stuff that I want to use on the slides. I'll use this slide to kind of blow up that grading system so you'll see how it works. We're going to have 3 written exams during the semester. They're all formatted exactly the same. The only difference is that I have weighted the first exam, since it's the first experience you'll have of doing a timed written exam, at only 20%. That'll give you a chance to work out bugs and so on, see me if there are problems, so that when you take the second midterm and the final, that they will be both with 40% of the total grade. So the written exams that we will take, the 3, will be 50% of your full grade. The other is called another grade. Don't know why I called it. Ought to be able to come up with a better name than other. But it's primarily quizzes that we're going to take on your reading. Every week, starting the second week of the semester, clear through to the end, we're going to have a reading quiz on material that I've assigned, in which I've divided the material equally in about 40-page sections to work through the book. So each week you'll have about 40 pages that you'll need to read and study so that you're ready to take one of these quizzes once they happen. I'll talk to you more about how the quizzes are conducted in just a minute. But the other thing on here is something called miscellaneous. We have a pretest, a quiz that goes along with this video that you'll need to complete, and a post-test that we use, and I'll just simply give you all the points available. If you take those, except for this video quiz, you have to have taken it and answer the questions correctly to do that one. But whatever score you get on that will be, your grade will be 15% of this other grade, but most of it is going to be these in-class quizzes that we do. Okay, let's talk about the written exams. They'll be based on class discussions. The class discussions will be primarily me going over the answers to the quizzes. You'll take quizzes on Wednesday, Friday, and Monday. I'll go over the answers to the quizzes, both the quizzes that you take in class and the makeup quizzes that I have available, which have different sets of questions to them. Okay, during the discussions, we will go into more depth on certain historical events and people, ideas that have happened during that we covered for that particular quiz, and I'll use those as the basis for the questions that I will put on the exams. There are going to be 3 kinds of questions on the exams: some matching, some short response questions. They're for history courses, they're called ID questions, where you identify who or what, where or when, where and when, and especially and most importantly, and most of the data that you'll write, why important. You should get me 6 to 7 sentences on it to have an adequate answer on each one of these, but I'm going to talk to you and give you some practice on doing those before you actually have to do it. Finally, there will be 1 essay question on each of the exams that requires a coherent, probably 5-paragraph essay that you write during the time period for the exam that I'm going to teach you how to write. I'm going to show you how to do that with a proper purpose statement and so on as we go. So you need to take really, really close notes as I go over the answers to the quiz questions as we go. These tests will all be taken at home. Prepared 3 versions of each one, and I'll send out an email giving you the assignment of which version you're to take and giving you an access code to it just before the exam opens. And so we won't have class that day. I'll open it for 24 hours so that you find 60 minutes in a 24-hour period that you can take the exam. And with that, we'll do more with that as the semester progresses. It's going to be in many of your interest to study with other students in order to prepare for the quizzes and exams. I thoroughly encourage that if you can. There is one caveat, however, that is you must do your own work. So when you're preparing answers for quizzes, potential quiz questions, and for the exams, it will be a good idea to prepare, sample topic sentences and bullet lists, but don't prepare the actual answer. Don't write an essay for one of the potential essay questions and then share it among all of your friends and colleagues that are in your group. If you do that, your grade for the semester will be in dire jeopardy. You'll probably fail the class if that happens. Everybody who participated, the person who wrote it and shared it, is as guilty as those who used it. And you will probably be referred to the dean for disciplinary action that could result in your being removed from the university. So no plagiarism on these things, please. Finally, I insist that everybody take all 3 exams. Miss one and you fail the class. Take one and the final, you miss the second one, you failed the class. So take all 3 exams. The other grade, we're going to have weekly in-class quizzes, as I mentioned before. Questions will come from the readings. Most of the questions will come from the reading, although I'll put one short response question in or fill in the blank or something like that from the previous class discussions that we've been having. I will give a lecture during the first 2 open days of class before we get to the first quiz. Will be, I'll begin it on Monday, continuing on, we do a little quiz activity on Wednesday. On Friday, I'll continue with this lecture. On Monday, I'll complete the lecture. It takes a long time. So your first quiz is going to have a question from that lecture. And your first midterm exam will have a question from that lecture. So you need to be in class and be taking notes on that initial lecture. Just for your information, I will be Zooming each class and recording it. If you don't feel well, you can participate through Zoom. I don't encourage this, and you may not take the quizzes. They're to be done in class. You can't take those online. You can do the makeup quizzes that I'll talk about, but we have to be very careful of that. So I want you in class every day if you possibly can. If you're ill, fine, contact me, tell me you're staying home and Zooming. These Zoom sessions are recorded and the recordings stay up 30 days. So if you want to go back and review something that I talked about, update your notes and so on, you can do that. The makeup quizzes are set to begin to open immediately after class ends on quiz day. Every Wednesday after quizzes ends at noon, the makeup quiz will open and stay open till midnight that night. So the next 12 hours, you could do the makeup quiz. If you miss class, you'll have to do the makeup quiz in order to get a score. Okay? If you're in class and you didn't like your score, you may take the makeup after to try to raise your score. Just remember, I only let you use 3. There are 12 makeup quizzes, 11 makeup quizzes. I let you use only 3. The first 3 you take are the only 3 that will count. Secondly, if you do take the makeup quiz, that will be your score on the quiz. If you got a higher score in class, but you took the makeup and got a lower score, the lower score will be your score. I'm trying to discourage the use of makeup quizzes as much as I can, but nevertheless having an option available. If you have to miss class because of an emergency of some kind, then you can take it. They're on Canvas, can be taken anywhere that you have your computer or your device available. Now that we've done the syllabus tool, I'm going to move on to more Canvas tools. So we're back to our home page again, and the gray transparent box. And you can see this time I moved down from the syllabus and chosen the assignments tool. I'm going to open that one right now. I should have had a slide where I show you this on the student version. That is the one that you see when you open Canvas. Over on the right-hand side, you get to choose whether you want these listed by date or listed by category. I made the categories, and it's really easy to navigate through all of this if you select the category selection for assignments. If you do that, then it lists them under the headings that I've created here, and it's way easier to find them. So the first thing you see is a bunch of stuff that I've called university. These are things that I use for the pretest and the post-test for university purposes. The scores on those I keep and use for accreditation reports. I just give you credit for taking them. The introductory video quiz is also located there. You can also find all of this over on the quizzes tool, which I'll show you in a minute, where everything's listed by the date that they occur. If we go down, you can see there are 2 at-home quizzes that you'll take. The first Wednesday of the semester, you'll take a quiz at home that we're going to go after class is over, based on what I did in class on Wednesday. I'm going to tell you what all the questions are and what the answers are, So if you're just in class and participating, you're going to be able to have notes and know what all the answers are as you go. And then one at the end of the semester that I won't give you the answers for, but will be included in the quizzes grade. Then you can see it begins the exams, and if we scroll down, you'll see the midterm, the first midterm, the second midterm, and the final. You notice each one has a number of versions that are available for me to assign. If I scroll way down on the assignments tool, I come to a heading called Makeup Quizzes. So when we complete quiz number 2, which is the first one we do that's based on a reading assignment, then if you don't like your score on that one or you missed that one, you can go here and select Makeup Quiz number 2. It'll open any time between noon and midnight on Wednesday, the day of the quiz, and you will have 15 minutes to complete it. Okay, they're timed for 15 minutes. You have to have done your reading assignment in order to be able to complete these quizzes and do well on them, okay, just like in the morning class, okay? But that's where you find the makeup quizzes. You can also find them over on the quizzes tool, which I'm going to select next. So here's the home page again, the purple transparent box, and it's pointing at quizzes tool. I only took one picture of this. You can scroll on down through it, and you can see everything is just assigned by the date that it's due. And so some of you prefer using this in order to find things. I prefer the assignments page because of the way that they're oriented there. But we won't stay here on the quizzes tool very long. The next thing we're going to do is the Canvas Pages tool, the one that I've left till last. Now, pay close attention here. If you've not used Canvas before, if you've never gone to Canvas Pages before, this can be a little bit confusing because there's a second step in order to get to the pages. So there's the Pages tool in my transparent box on Canvas. If I select it, then the home page comes up again, okay, which is kind of disconcerting if this is the first time this has happened. But it's got to change. It's got this View All Pages button. Somehow in the way that Canvas is programmed, they couldn't take you directly from Pages to the Pages tool. I don't understand why. I don't know why that would be necessary, and it's caused numerous students problems in order to get there. Just remember, you got to select Pages twice in order to get there. And when I get there, they're on this particular set of pages. These are pages that I get to create. So I created your home page, which is, you can see up there at the top, a grade posting page, and then you can see a PowerPoint page down below, okay? I'm selecting the grade posting page, but before I go there, I'm going to go back to the Canvas homepage, okay? I've mislabeled this slide. It should say Canvas homepage, okay? And if you scroll way down on it, this is something many of you use in your other classes as professors have programmed Canvas to present your grade all of the time. I do some things in my grading that I'll explain during the semester that makes it so that is not an adequate tool for me to use as I do grades. So instead of that, I need to point out that I don't use that. If you're selecting that in order to go find your grades, then you're going to have trouble. Okay, I've had students complain, hey, I'm doing well in the class, got A's on my assignments, and yet I'm failing. And that's because they're trying to use the Canvas grading tool in order to assess their grades. Don't do that. We use this grade posting page, okay? I do not use the View Grades tool. So if I choose the grade posting selection here, okay, that we come back to now, I get a page that looks like this, and it has a number of links as you go down. You can see on this one a grade calculator and an in-class quiz grading tool, or report is what that will be. It will not be hot yet until I do the first grade posting. But here's what you'll find on this page. grade calculator that after we've done the first midterm, you can begin using to assess what your grade is during the semester, which is what most of you want to use Canvas's grading tool for. You can use an Excel file and find out what it is, and you can play around with it. Figure out, what do I have to do on second midterm in order to raise my grade where I need it to be. The in-class quiz grades, then I'll keep track of the other grades, the in-class quiz grades and the miscellaneous grades, if you will. And then after we take the midterm, I will post a current semester grade showing you what your grade is at that point during the semester. I'll do the same thing after the second midterm. And then when all of the material assignments and exams for the course are completed at the end, you've taken your final exam and I've graded it, then I will give you a final semester grade report, which I will send to you by email and post on this grade posting page that you can, that's the first place you will look to find your grade. Next thing I've gone to is the PowerPoint page, and I should have gone back to the grade posting page, the Pages tool, and put an arrow showing that, but I think you can find it. It looks like this, and during the week I will post a number of I will have posted the PowerPoint slides that I'm using, and then as I use the PowerPoint slides to go over the answers to the quizzes, I'll begin posting them as soon as I'm done with them. Okay, finally, let's conclude this video by looking at what I expect from you during the first week. Okay? Again, you'll have these slides. You can find this, or you may want to take a note of this. I need the information sheet, hopefully turned in Monday, so that I can begin assembling my roles and making sure who is enrolled in the class and who isn't. By Wednesday, I will need that for sure. If I don't get the information sheet by Wednesday, you will be withdrawn from the class because I will not have known. You will not have attended, and I won't know who you are. By Wednesday, you should probably complete the pretest and the introductory video quiz. Although I'm giving you 2 weeks to do that, I suggest you do it the first week. You'll be busy here and in other classes by then. Remember, when we started, you need to set all of your devices so that you get my messages, my emails, and my announcements, messages that I send you. And you do that in Settings and Notifications tools. I suggest you get your textbook as soon as you can and begin reading for the first reading assignment. Look in your semester schedule for that assignment. It'll show you what pages you have to read in order to be ready for that quiz number 2. I would download the printable semester schedule and syllabus. If you print anything out, print out the semester schedule so that you can have it by you all of the time. Not necessary to print out the syllabus. Okay, that's the introduction to the course.